Alright, greetings all, Shardvixen here. We are going to do some reading of our comic book. And then we'll do some journaling. Trying to make sure we get through things a little quicker. Okay? I'm just checking everything's making its sounds it's supposed to make. Be just a minute here. Okay, so the bit rate was really, hello my love. The bit rate was down really bad, so I'm trying to make sure it's doing alright. Okay? Alright. Okay. So I'm gonna wait a little bit, see if Feely Boy shows up before I start reading. Just cause I don't want to reread everything. Rearrange some stuff here. Sorry, bouncing that around. So I'll give it a few. And then I'm going to start reading. Whether somebody's here or not. I'll give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes for reading. I got a lot of sorting to do. I listen to music. So I'm going to do 10. The thing is, Marvel Saga, there's quite a few of them. I don't know if I want to read them all. So that's 3 we're going to read. We're just going to read 3 today. And then I'm going to go into journaling. Well, depending on. Oh, there's Feely Boy. I was waiting for you to show up because I knew you liked comic books. If you didn't show up, though, in 5 minutes, I would have started reading. I was just saying that Marvel Saga, I have quite a few of them. I have all the way up to 16. I don't know if we want to read all the way up to 16 because I wanted to do X-Men, so I definitely want to do as much of the X-Men history as possible because I'm not starting with X-Men 1. I don't have it. My earliest X-Men is in the hundreds. I do have the classic X-Men, which is where I think we're going to go after this, is we're going to read classic X-Men. So I don't know. We'd have to think about it. I mean, I could read all 16 of them and it'll be fine. But we're going to just read 3 today. Number 3 today. And then next week I'll do 4 and 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, allowance doesn't go there. Ooh, well, I got a whole bunch from out of order here. There's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then I got till 17 and then I have 22, which I don't know that. We have to read 22 because, you know, by then most of my comic books have been caught up. Okay, so this is, let me give me my glasses. I keep losing my glasses, guys. My grandson ended up with some of them too, so I don't know who's got what, where. I don't know where my reading glasses are. Okay, so, I don't need that. So we have Marvel Saga, the official history of the Marvel Universe. Is the music too loud, guys, in the background for you? Evil aborning, it says. Yeah. I don't think that's a word, aborning. Aborning, the origin of Doctor Doom, plus the amazing origin of the submarine Mariner and Atlantis, and the awesome conclusion to the origin of Spider-Man, plus X-Men, Fantastic Four, Hulk, and more. Okay, and this is number 3. We read 1 and 2 2 weeks ago, so y'all need to bounce over there and go see the video. It'll be on my YouTube, my Wild Rhyme Time video. I can't remember how the Discord for that is, but it should say on there someplace. I gotta get rid of the TikTok one because that's no longer a thing. I no longer have TikTok. Hang on just a second. Let's go to Nightbot. Shouldn't have that in there. Blood Bond, DMAC, Discord, Dragon, Felix. Who's it? Kendall, Mary. Yeah, so show 25. It only has 25 of my, so I don't know why those are popping up that way, because they're not in there. I took them out. Well, that's just weird. I may have to go in and refix Nightbot, because I feel like Nightbot is not custom, is not doing well. So default. Filters, gamer mark. Yeah. He's not been doing well. It's been my... Interesting. Weird. Okay. It doesn't show the commands in there, so I do not know why Nightbot. It's got that command. Really weird, because TikTok is gone. So don't go to TikTok if you're looking. Also, that one too is gone. Alright, well, it is what it is. I guess we'll fix it later. Okay, so. The Gathering of Dooms, Book 3. The new team of superhuman heroes called the Fantastic Four had only existed a short time when one of its members, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, quit the group after feuding with his teammates. Hiding out in a New York flophouse, Johnny there discovers Prince Namor, the submariner of the undersea kingdom of Atlantis, who has not been seen for years. Namor was suffering from amnesia, but Johnny succeeded in restoring his memory. Namor swam off to find his people as Johnny waited eagerly on a Manhattan pier for his return, expecting to be thanked. Instead, the horrified Johnny learned he had unleashed one of the greatest threats mankind would ever know. At least at that time period. Right? You young fool, by returning my memory you have signed the death warrant of the human race. What? What are you talking about? Revenge. I'm talking about the revenge I shall have for the destruction of my undersea kingdom. I am the mightiest living mortal on earth, and now mankind shall feel that might as it is turned against you all. It's always interesting because Namor is one of those that's not quite a hero, but does heroic things. Okay, so Namor had discovered that Atlantis had been destroyed and his people had vanished. Still unable to remember the true cause of this disaster, which we'll soon learn, the enraged Namor leaped to the conclusion that the surface people had caused it with their nuclear weapons. But how did a humanoid race ever come to live beneath the sea? To answer that question, we must go back over 20,000 years ago to when Atlantis was a continent above the ocean populated by air-breathing humans. Atlantis first entered into legend when one of the barbarians living there, who took the tiger as his totem, won the throne of a mighty civilized nation, which he defended against both natural and supernatural threats. During the 500 years after this man's reign, Atlantis rose to become the greatest, most advanced nation of the day. But the deviants, a mishapped offspring of humanity, eventually conquered the entire known world except for Atlantis. Finally, using enslaved humans from the land called Lemuria as soldiers, the deviants launched their attack on Atlantis. King Camus of Atlantis and his wife Queen Zatara were forced to unleash torrents of flaming magma from beneath Atlantis to stop the oncoming invaders. Meanwhile, the deviants dared to attack the starship of their creator, the Celestials, who had returned to observe Earth. The Celestials retaliate with a weapon of immense power, utterly defeating the deviants. Okay, I don't know if you guys see that very well. This one's one of those that the paper did not age well. The combined result of Camus' desperate act and the Celestials' weapon was the great cataclysm that devastated the earth. The continent of Atlantis sank beneath the waves. Many centuries later, Atlantis ruins were discovered by members of the water-breathing subspecies of humanity called Homo mermanus, whose origins are yet unknown. The spirits of Camus and Zartar appeared to a young prince from this race, who was also named Camus, and instructed him to build a new Atlantean nation upon the site of their own. Within the last 2 centuries, for unknown reason, the Atlantean emperor Thakor led his people from Atlantis' original site in the North Atlantic Ocean to a location off the coast of Antarctica, where they built a glorious new home. Then, in 1920, an Antarctic expedition led by American Captain Leonard Mackenzie set off explosive charges to break up icebergs, thereby unwittingly wreaking havoc with the Atlantean buildings beneath them. Depth charges in place, sir. As soon as the men are safe on board, commence firing, Mr. Barnes. Thus began a chain of events that led to the birth of Prince Namor, the Submariner. Now remember, I have problems with words sometimes, so things get all wonky-dunky when I'm reading them. Paper's hard to. This is some of the original art too. Puzzled by the severity of the blast, the orc sent his daughter, Princess Fen. My dear, I wish you to send a scouting expedition to investigate that strange explosion. As you command, my father. There is no need for a scouting party. For such a simple mission, I myself shall make the ascent. Being able to breathe out of the water for periods up to 5 hours, the strong-willed princess spied the silent ship and steadily climbed aboard. I must learn what matter of creatures inhabit the strange vessel. But within minutes, her presence was discovered, and then, it don't make sense, Captain. She ought to be frozen solid in that get-up, but she ain't. Look at the color of her skin, and no one can savvy the lingo she talks. Strange. She seems to be having difficulty breathing. She keeps looking at the water as though she wants to return. As time passed, Princess Fen conquered the human language, and she conquered even more. She conquered the captain's heart. She's so lovely, so gentle, so fragile. I should return to the deep, but I cannot. I cannot leave him. Fen, my lovely stranger, my mysterious enchantress, I must ask you. I know your question, beloved. Would you go away? I am not ticklish, and I don't know why you keep trying. At least I'm not ticklish there. My heart answers yes. And so the two races separated by countless ages were united once more by the simple universal ceremony of marriage, till death do us part. But weeks later, concerned by the absence of his daughter, Thakor dispatched a war party to the surface. In an ensuing battle, Captain Mackenzie was slain, as the helpless Princess Fen mercifully fainted into unconsciousness. However, as a result of this tragic marriage, a son was born to the grieving princess, a new breed of undersea man, able to breathe both air and water. This is Prince Namor, the Submariner, possibly the first known mutant of our time, noble, powerful, dedicated, the only true human amphibian on Earth. One day, the young rash Namor clashed with two humans in diving suits exploring the ocean bottom. Believing them to be the advanced scouts of Evasion Force, Thakor sent Namor to the surface world to retaliate. Over the following months, tensions between the submariner and the surface people escalated, and Namor fought humanity again and again. The submariner possessed great powers that made him seem invincible. As a hybrid, he could breathe in air or in water. He was possessed of superhuman strength and the ability to fly. There were a few beings who could stop him. One was the original android Human Torch, who fought Namor several times early in their careers. Oops, sorry. There was another as well, a brave policewoman named Betty Dean, who in time became the submariner's friend and companion on his adventures. The Prince of Atlantis found himself falling in love with the surface world policewoman, although they would finally part after World War II. By the wrath horn of Porteus. Do the air breathers now send a mere female against me? I'm Betty Dean, and I came on my own. Please go, before innocent people are hurt by your battles with the police. Because of your courage, fair one, I shall go for now. If only it was so easy. Betty and the Torch pursued Namor that his true enemies were not all surface humans, but those of the Axis powers, Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, and Imperial Japan. When Adolf Hitler ordered an attack on Atlas' capital city, which wrecked it and left Thakor temporarily comatose, Namor vowed to fight back. He allied himself with Captain America and his sidekick Bucky, and with the Torch and his partner Toro, to form the Invaders, a team of heroes who opposed the Axis aggression throughout the war. For a time after the war, Namor was a member of the Invaders' successor, the All-Winner Squad. Tells you a long time ago. Hey, Cuzwalt, thanks for jumping in. We're learning about Submariner. But Namor eventually left the affairs of the surface humans to devote himself entirely to Atlantis. There, beneath the Atlantic Ocean, his grandfather, Emperor Thakor, still ruled with Namor's mother, the still youthful Princess Fen, by his side. There, too, lived Namor's close friend and cousin, Namora, pictured below, who would one day become the mother of Namoria, who would accompany Submariner in future adventures. There was also Baran, Namor's treacherous cousin, always scheming for power as he does to this day. And there was the beautiful Lady Dorma, whom Namor would one day marry only hours before she was tragically murdered by one of his enemies. Well, he just don't have no luck. But the first great tragedy in the Submariner's life began on the day some years after the war's end, when earthquakes shook the ocean floor on which the city of Atlas stood. By the swirling mires of Sargasso. Do the accused humans dare to attack us anew? 'Tis only the answer. Quickly, Namor, to your emperor, I command you. Thakor sent Namor to investigate the source of the earthquakes, accompanied by 6 of Atlantis' finest warriors. Where leads our noble prince, there shall we undaunted follow. 'Tis as though I was fated to relive the feat of Princess Fen, she who even now stands watching me at the Emperor's side. Go, grandson of my heart, seek out those who would destroy us, Imperious Rex. But act with caution, my son, for a nameless dread arises within me. Let it be our unseen foe who trembles thus. Ere long he shall face the true Submariner. This is the last thing that Namor remembers of his life before his amnesia. Not for several more years would he remember what follows. On his way to the surface, another blast killed the 6 warriors who were with Namor. The hot-tempered prince vowed to avenge their death. There, in yon half-hidden cave of the calculated source of blasts, Then this attack was no mere accident. 'Tis no unsuspecting vessel with which I must deal, but a murderer most foul. A most foul murderer. There within the cave, the submariner met the man who would be solely responsible for the destruction of Atlantis, Paul Destine, who called himself Destiny. Ha! My helmet of power did its work well, did it not? For I but tested its awesome might by assaulting Atlantis from afar. Atlantis, that sunken empire, which did I locate with sheer psychic powers. Tested? Then you slaughtered my warriors, leveled much of my homeland for a mere trial? As exalted Neptune is my witness, you shall pay for such a monumental villainy. I think not, my dear Namrod. What Namrod would not learn for years was that Destiny's helmet of power was actually the disguised serpent crown, an object of tremendous mystical power that had been created by wizards in a pre-cataclysmic Lemuria, and which was linked with the primeval serpent demon Set, as in from Conan. Using the helmet's power, Destiny easily overpowered Namor and held him helpless. Some invisible, irresistible force buffering me. This, my fool, is my ultimate power. And then the sadistic Destiny completed his unholy work, the total destruction of Atlantis. The very palace collapsed around us, and there is nowhere to flee. We must meet our fate, as benefits our nobility. Many of the Atlanteans escaped the slaughter, but not Namor's mother and grandfather. Destiny used his mystical powers to let the helpless Namor see the vision of Fenn's and Thakor's death. With Atlantis in the ruins, Destiny melted out a special fate to Namor himself for daring to oppose him. They must die, Namor, but you shall live. For I have plans in mind, plans for your future. If only I could resist this mental bombardment, but for a moment. Wait, suddenly I feel compelled to take flight. Cannot resist. I am a mere plaything in my foe's hands. He is sending me where? His evil work done, Destiny returned to the state of suspended animation from which he earlier emerged. One day he would return and battle Namor in the course of an attempt to seize control of the United States. Many hours later, his memory now totally gone, the exhausted submariner arrived in New York City. But now I must return to suspended animation for the final period of years, for I can sense that then shall my powers reach their height. And when that time has elapsed, I shall mentally summon Namor once again, no matter where he may be, and then I shall finally destroy him. Who am I? And why am I here? If I could but remember. Look, Joe, is it the fuzz? Worse, it's the submariner. I thought he kissed off the human race years ago. Well, he ain't stopping this heist. Nothing is. Those men up ahead, why do they regard me with such fear? The thieves attacked, but Namor easily routed them. They fire their weapons at me. Potato. But why? Those pop cones won't do any good. Rush him. Back, worthless rabble. Yep, that guy ain't human. The sneaky man. Namor looked at some clothes the thieves had tried to steal. They sought to steal garments. Perhaps I should don some of them to look like other men until I learn once more who I truly am. But Destiny had not just removed Namor's memory, he had also dulled his great intelligence. So the once proud submariner, prince of a noble and ancient empire, sank into a mental haze and wandered the streets of New York as a derelict. His memory did not return, and this, the darker period of his life, went from days, if only I knew who I am, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. Finally, only hours ago, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, found the bearded derelict and took pity on him. Johnny decided to use his powers to create flame to burn away the derelict's excessive hair. Wait, can't you see this man has amnesia, lost a memory? I'll take him for treatment after I shave him to see what he really looks like. Look at that! The kid's the Human Torch. And when Johnny had finished, he's the Submariner. The Submariner? Johnny immersed Namar in water of the Manhattan coast, thereby restoring his full strength and most of his memory. But Namar did not remember the destruction of Atlantis, and on discovering that Atlantis was no more, leapt to the conclusion that the surface people's nuclear weapons were responsible. Now, after swearing vengeance on humanity, Namar leaves Johnny alone on the pier. Grimly, Johnny uses his flare gun to signal the other members of the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, who uses his stretching power as Mr. Fantastic, Johnny's sister Sue, the Invisible Girl, and Ben Grimm in the mishappened thing, whose colossal strength rivals the Submariner's own. What's the idea of scaring us that way? You know that flare is only used in emergency. Quiet thing. This is an emergency, you big ape. Do you think I'd have called you if it weren't important? I never wanted to see any of you again. But we're gonna need each other now. The Submariner is back, and he's out to destroy the whole human race. The whole human race. This is all the original art from the original comics, so it's kind of cool that they have it, I thought. But it was old then, because this came out in 1986, February. 1986. Far beneath the sea, Namar finds the means of his vengeance, the mystical horn of Proteus, which he can command monsters of the deep whose existence humanity did not even suspect. There he is, still slumbering, as he has for ages, the largest living thing in all the world, the deadly Giganto. Only one thing can arouse him, this trumpet horn which my ancestors buried here centuries ago. Giganto comes ashore at Manhattan, wreaking incredible destruction. The armed forces are unable to stop the monster. Anything that could destroy Giganto would wipe out New York City and hit its terrified populace as well. Fire! It is the Thing who finds the solution. He will place an enormous bomb in Giganto's throat, and the explosion will kill the sea creature, but be contained within its own body. Oh, Thing, you can't. Relax, Sue. I ain't no hero. I'll come back alive. Just watch. He's resting now. Good thing he breathes through his mouth. Well, here goes nothing. And so the Thing undertakes the incredible journey inside the body of the largest creature that ever lived on Earth, knowing that each step he takes could be his last. But luck is with Ben Grimm. Giganto does not wake up and never will again. That does it. Tick, 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 tick. But now I've only seconds to spare. If his mouth is shut, now I'm a goner. Made it. Boom! He did it. The monster's dead. He saved the city, perhaps the world. Then Sue invisibly makes off with the horn of Proteus, but Namar stops her. And when she regains visibility, is more pleased to have done so. You are the loveliest human I have ever seen. You will be my bride. I might show mercy to the rest of your pitiful race. How can I make such a choice? That hair of hers, oh my. Oh my, oh my. You're listening at the new Crow. I haven't seen that at the movie theater. It was okay. Not as good as the first one, but not as bad as the second one. But I like the second one too. It's very culty. But Sue has no choice to make after all, because when the other members of the Fantastic Four arrive and challenge him, Namor delivers his ultimatum. Now I'll have the girl and my revenge. The next time I blow the horn, I shall unleash a horde of undersea monsters such as mankind never dreamt of. Sue tries to make Namor see reason, but Submariner is by now lost within his fantasies of vengeance. He means it. He might do it. We can't take the chance. No, Prince Namor, you mustn't. I'll do anything. I'll become your bride. One life such as mine doesn't matter, but humanity must be spared. You speak as though you are sacrificing yourself. Don't you realize what an honor I offer you? You can become the bride of the Submariner, co-ruler of the earth. But I don't love you. Oh, I'm sorry. The three male teammates attack Submariner together. It's interesting they had to say male because we all know they were male. But it's interesting they said that. Together, but his strength makes him more than a match for all three of them. Back, you clods! None may strike the imperial person of Namor, the Submariner. Johnny had idolized the Submariner, but now he has had more than enough of him. He flames on and soars above Namor's head. And before the Submariner realizes what the Human Torch is doing, Johnny sweeps him up in a powerful vortex of air. Taken by surprise, the Submariner is unable to break free of the powerful winds before he is swept many miles out to sea, where the torch ignominiously dumps him. There. That'll show him he's bit off more than he can chew. The horn of Proteus is also swept up in the vortex, but it lands far away from the Submariner and will not be found again for years. And while many leagues under the sea, the Submariner makes a vengeful vow. I'm not beating yet. They're stronger than I thought, but not strong enough to finish Namor. I'll be back. Do you hear? I'll be back. Inflamed with wounded pride, the Submariner will deal with the devil himself at this point to get his revenge. Very soon, Namor will team up against the Fantastic Four with a man who could be said to come very close to that description. The very next adversary that the Fantastic Four will battle, and by far the deadliest. A short time later in New Mexico, far from the scene of the Submariner's onslaught, a nuclear physicist, Bruce Banner, and his young confidant, Rick Jones, set out on an expedition of great importance to them and to the world. They run into General Thunderbolt Ross and his daughter Betty. Bruce, where are you going with all that equipment? Off to conduct a little scientific research. See you when we return. I'll never understand what you see in that weakling like him, Betty. Only Rick knows that because of the exposure to massive gamma radiation, Bruce Banner transformed every evening into the savage monster known as the Hulk. This is it, Rick. It's a lovely underground cave I discovered. It'll be perfect for our purpose. Deep within the cave, Banner has constructed a room in which Hulk, who is not yet as strong as he would become later, could safely be imprisoned. Now, let's test the door. I've arranged the balances so that your one easy push will roll it into place. It's solid concrete, 10 feet thick. Even the Hulk won't be able to break out of here. There. We've checked it and it works. Now it's up to you, Rick. Each day at twilight, you've got to lock me in there. And I'll release you every morning. Don't worry, Doc. I'll never let you down. But Banner and Jones are not safe from totally unexpected threat, and that of the alien Trebites, also known by the nickname of Toadmen, who are launching the invasion of Earth. Do not struggle and you will not be injured yet. You are powerless against our magnetic ray guns. Who would have thought that'd be a problem, huh? Toadman in space. Tribite warships appeared over many of Earth's cities. Governments tried to keep the invasion secret, as the United States government had successfully done only weeks before when the Skrull menace. But rumors about the alien presence nevertheless swept the globe. Bruce and Rick escaped from the Toadmen, but after Banner is found in an abandoned Tribite ship, General Ross, suspecting him of complicity with them, throws him into military prison. Then Banner waits fearfully for the setting of the sun and his inevitable transformation. Smashing through the concrete walls, the steel bars as though they were cardboard, he lunges out into the open. Banner once more becomes the monstrous Hulk who cares nothing about the invasion from outer space. Let's get out of here. We've got to warn General Ross. General, he locked me in a cell. He is my enemy. I must find him, must find General. Here, this is his home. Is that you, Dad? The Hulk now realizes for the first time that General Thunderbolt Ross is his enemy. Thus is born the Hulk's hatred for Ross, which is observant as Ross's own determination to put the end to the Hulk. So it's interesting that originally the Hulk didn't change in the Hulk because he was angry. He changed in the Hulk at night. Love how they changed these things to comic books. So cool. Oh no, help! But this time Betty Ross does not faint as she did before on seeing Hulk. Despite the danger to her life, she bravely demands to know what the monster wants from her. Who are you? Why do you hate us so? But it is not only General Ross whose embittered, furious Hulk hates. Whom the embittered, furious Hulk hates. Hate you? Why shouldn't I hate you? Why shouldn't I hate all mankind? Look what men have done to me. But they will hound me no longer, for now the Hulk will fight back on my own terms. For the first time, the Hulk has found the thoughts and the words to declare his hatred for the entire human race. Fortunately, before Betty can be harmed, Rich Joan arrives, distracts the Hulk, who soon as the sun rises, chains back the Banner out of Betty's sight. Banner realizes the Toad Men must be stopped now before their invasion goes any further. There's only one chance, Rick. They derived all their power by harnessing the force of magnetic energy. If only that energy can be turned against them. Banner fires a gigantic gamma radiation projector, a weapon he has invented, at the oncoming Tribite invasion fleet. Getting exciting now. Woo! Excitement. The intense radiation destroys the working of the Tribite's weaponry, and the would-be conquerors are forced to retreat to their home planet, their mission having utterly failed. So it is that Dr. Bruce Banner, without the power of the Hulk, defeats the first alien menace he's ever encountered. First alien menace he ever encountered. Then, so, not to give anything away, okay, so the new Captain America that's out, the one where Falcon becomes Captain America, has Ross. General Ross becomes president. So, I liked it. It was a fun movie. It was a good comic book movie. Look at them all. Then, since no one dares call the man who saved Earth a traitor, Bruce Banner and Rick are released just before the fall of night and at the home of the General Ross. I told you we could trust Bruce, Dad. Even though he managed to clear himself this time, I'm still suspicious of him. I still feel there's some connection between him and that dang blasted Hulk. For all we know, he and the Hulk are together right now planning new devilment. Oh, Dad. Yes, Bruce Banner and the Hulk are together, not the way Thunderbolt thinks. For at that moment, in a gloomy dungeon beneath the sea, the Hulk pounds vainly at the 10-foot thick concrete wall as Rick Jones says a silent prayer, waiting for the break of day, which will bring their next fantastic adventure. By far, most of the public never knows about the Toad Man invasion, and governments manage to explain away those strange flying vessels that were seen above certain cities. Soon the furor over the famous rumors of the invasion from space dies down and life returns to normal. Normalcy for the Fantastic Four, unfortunately, means fighting between the Human Torch and the Thing. You're darn right I'll get you, Torch. And when I do, stop him, Reed. Thing, knock it off. What's the matter with the four of us? Whenever were we not fighting some menace to mankind, we end up fighting among ourselves. Skip the lecture, pal. I'm a big boy now. But while the Fantastic Four waste time quarreling, the man who would prove to be their greatest enemy hovers in the skies outside, about to strike. Can you guess who it is? Can you guess? I'm not going to tell you. The unseen menace drops one of his inventions from his helicopter towards Fantastic Four Baxter Building headquarters with astounding results. Soon I will have them trapped and completely at my mercy. Nothing can escape my little web, not even the Fantastic Four. By the time the Fantastic Four realizes what happened, it's too late. They are trapped. Look, some sort of net has been dropped over the entire tower. Burn through it, hotshot. I'm trying thing, but it must be asbestos. Fantastic Four, heed my words. This is Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom? What is he? That voice, I recognize it, but I thought he was dead. Dr. Doom. The last that Reed Richards had heard of the man who now bears this name was that he had left alone to travel in Tibet. He never returned, and Richards assumed he was dead. But there was a great deal that Richards did not know about this time about the man called Doom. Doom's story began years before in a small gypsy camp in a tiny kingdom of Latveria. No, I know it. Latveria. We'll just go with that. I know that's not what it is, but I know it. Maybe it'll pop in my head later. In the Balkan Alps, Victor von Doom was the young son of Weiner von Doom, not Wiener. Warner von Doom, a gypsy, and his wife Cynthia, who was killed when Victor was still an infant. One day, the minions of the ruthless Latvian nobleman came for Warner von Doom. I've done nothing. I am only a gypsy healer. I treat the sick and suffering of my tribe. Silence. You are to come with me by the order of the Baron. Do not worry, Victor, my son. I have done no wrong. I shall not be harmed. The tribe needs you, father. I need you. Do not fear, Von Doom. I shall look after the boy until you return. The gypsy Boris, who volunteered to look after young Victor, remains in Dr. Doom's service to this day. Not the judge, Doom the doctor. Nope, not the judge. No. It is hopeless. It's beyond my power to save her. You lie, gypsy. Use your magic potion. Save her, or you'll pay for your own worthless life. There is nothing more I can do, your excellency. Then go back to your wretch's camp and pray, for your sake, that you have been successful. The Baroness cannot survive till morning. Nothing could have saved her. I must take my son and flee while there is time yet. She is dead. The gypsy failed me, and he'll pay for it with his own life. Distraught over what might happen to his father, Victor has sought solace from his childhood friend, a pretty gypsy girl named Valerie. It was with her that Werner von Doom found him. Father, you look terrible. What has happened? The Baroness? Dead, my son. The cancer that consumed her was beyond even the healing powers of my potions. Now the Baron blames me for her death, and we must flee for our very lives. Victor wanted to stay and fight their pursuers, as his mother had once wanted to battle her own. But Werner von Doom pressed onward. Sorry, barking in intermission. Rex! We're good. Yes, we're good. I swear. Now you're barking me. Go tell Dad. Tell him. Tell Dad. Tell him.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Give me 1 second. Yeah, we'll go. Give me a second. God, let me make one. Jeez Christ, dog.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. What?
Goodbye.
Oh, you want me to tell you were a good dog? But you weren't. You barked and you kept barking. You kept barking. You kept barking. Dog intermission, huh? Oh. Good boy. Good boy. All right. Hopefully you don't bark no more. Let's see. But Werner von Doom pressed onward with his son, racing to escape death. Instead, they fled right into its face in the form of a terrible blizzard. When the horse ran out, the Van Dooms nevertheless struggled ahead. Wrapping his own threadbare garments around the shivering boy, the desperate gypsy plopped on through the night, miraculously evading his pursuers. So, that's not a good word either, the word gypsy. You're not supposed to use that. It's not the word they use for themselves. Again, as I have pointed out, a lot has changed since the 1980s when these comic books were written. Probably even the 1990s. There's a lot of words in here that are not very keen, good, or not favorable towards the people. So I apologize in advance, and I will try to use the correct words if I can remember. Romanians, I think. But I don't know if they're all Romanians. Roma? Maybe it's Roma. I don't know. If anybody out there is of that descent, I apologize. Until finally, Van Doom. It's he, Boris. The soldiers have gone. Van Doom. They are nearly frozen. Van Doom is dying, but the boy still has a chance. I must get them back to the camp. And so, heed my last words. You must protect. Father, none will have to protect me. I shall become powerful and strong. I shall avenge your death. He did not mean protect the boy. He meant that the world must be protected from the son who bears the name Van Doom. They murdered my mother when I was but an infant, and now they have slain my father. They'll pay for that. All of mankind shall pay. We never told him that his mother was a mystic sorceress, and that her blood runs in his own veins. I pray he never learns of his dark heritage. But Boris' hopes were in vain. The death of his father set young Victor Van Doom on a path he was to follow the rest of his life, the pursuit of power and vengeance upon humanity. He would seek to master the world that had mastered his parents, and it was only a matter of time before he surmised what his mother truly was. While Valerie watched, concerned over Victor's obsession with his parents' death, Victor found a chest that had belonged to his mother. Wait, this chest, these strange objects. They bear the name of Cynthia Van Doom, the name of my mother, yet they are artifacts of magic and sorcery. Then it is true, the whispers, the stories, quietly silenced when it was realized I might be listening. My mother was a witch. Yeah, I know, but you still have to try. You still have to acknowledge that things are different now. Oh, Victor, no, put down those black things. It must have been them that brought your mother to her early death. Of course, the people hereabouts are stupid and suspicious. They fear us because we are gypsies, or Roma. How much more? I guess they would not be that. Whatever, what did they say? Latvian? Is what they would be here. How much more they would have feared a true witch, as they will come to fear me. Years passed. Valerie grew into a beautiful young woman whose childhood affection for Victor had matured into love. But Victor Van Doom, now an adult, had thrown himself into the study of black magic since discovering his mother's secrets. His obsession dominated him more and more until all he cared for was power and revenge. Victor, please, I beg you, for the sake of the promises we made to each other as children, you must abandon this madness. You must turn your steps back toward the light. You waste your time, Valerie. It is true I loved you once, but those days are long dead. As dead as my childhood dreams of peace and contentment. There can be no peace for me. Now, no days of sweet contentment until the world is driven to its knees, not until all of humanity has paid the price for the crimes against the name of doom. Having educated himself in sorcery, Von Doom decided to travel the world beyond Latveria and master science as well. Wanted to be a well-rounded villain, didn't he? Von Doom's quest for knowledge eventually led him to a state university in America, where he first met the man who would prove to be his greatest intellectual rival and most frequent nemesis. Well, it looks like someone else is as anxious to see the science lab as I am. My name's Richard, fella. Reed Richards. That is no concern of mine. Look, I don't know why you got this king-size chip on your shoulder, but being we're both here on science scholarships, how about us rooming together? I have no wish to share a room with anyone. I desire privacy. Well, it's none of my business, but aren't you carrying this mad science bit a little too far? Men always think that their superiors are mad. I've said enough. Now I shall find my own quarters. I'm glad he didn't accept my offer. There's something ominous about him. I can sense it. On his way out of Richard's room, Van Doom briefly encountered yet another of his future adversaries for the first time. Say, pal, isn't that Reed Richards in there? I heard he's the biggest brain on campus. I'm not your pal. As for the identity of that naive, prying simpleton, I couldn't care less. You got yourself a new roomie, Richards. The name's Ben Grimm. I figure I'll be more laughs than that nut who just flew out of here. Ben Grimm, the touchdown king? Glad to have you, big fella. It was not, of course, until years later that exposure to cosmic rays would give Reed Richards the stretching powers of Mr. Fantastic and give Ben Grimm the grotesque, superhumanly strong body of the Thing. Richards and Von Doom were alike in that each was a genius with scientific knowledge and ability towered above that of their fellow students. Let's see, can you guys see? I haven't been showing you the pictures of Belle. I'm sorry. Okay. In the days that followed, Victor Von Doom did succeed in finally getting a small room for himself, a room in which he carried on bizarre and dangerous experiments. My knowledge, my power, they increased each passing day. And one lazy afternoon, Von Doom had a caller. I wonder how a happy boy is making out. Hello, anybody home? Wow, he's been experimenting with matter transmutation and dimensional warps. This is pretty far out stuff. Oh, there you are. Listen, fella, you'd better double check some of those equations. You're off a few decimals in some places, and that can be... Give me that! Now get out! Did you hear me? Get out! If he ever comes snooping again, he'll regret it. I fixed up your gadget the way you told me to, but I still don't like it, Van Doom. The notes that Richard found related to Doom's most personal project, an attempt through scientific means to contact the spirit of the mother he had never known. If the faculty staff ever learned that you've been conducting forbidden experiments trying to contact another world, silence. Do as you're told and throw the switch. But the genius had made the mistake of underestimating Reed Richards, for Reed had been right, and Van Doom's equations were a few decimals off, and so, what was that? Kaboom! It came from the Doom's dormitory room. His helper miraculously escaped with minor injury. As for Victor Van Doom, he was hospitalized with facial disfigurement. Von Doom, I am expelling you from the school before you cause greater harm to yourself or to us. Pah! There's nothing more you can teach me anyways. When he was alone, Van Doom was overcome with desperate curiosity. How badly was he disfigured by the explosion? Another man would have been revealed that he had been scarred so little, but Von Doom was a man who believed he had to be perfect. To his mind, his face had been absolutely destroyed, and he could not bear the sight of it. No, I'm ugly, ugly. What have I done to myself? What have I done? My face is too horrible. No other eyes must ever gaze upon it. I'll hide it from the sight of mankind somewhere, somehow. And so he left. He took himself to the remote vastness of Tibet seeking forbidden secrets of black magic and sorcery. Finally, he was taken in by a mysterious order of monks who had dwelled in the lost mountain caves for centuries. There he stayed month after month, learning their ancient secrets and lore, until the day came they addressed him as Master. All is in readiness for you. And then it began, using the mouth of a gigantic idol as the makeshift blast furnace. The tragic, ill-starred man began to forge what was soon to be the most dreaded costume on the face of the earth. More heat! Fire the furnace! Do you hear? I must have more heat! Eventually, a task was complete. Let us know if it pains you, Master. Pain? That is for lesser men. What can pain mean to Victor Von Doom? And now it is time for the mask. But Master, it has not completely cooled yet. Say no more, my brother. He will tolerate no further delay. Such a man cannot wait as others can. Now wrapped up in his own fantasy of powers, impatient to assume his new role in the world, Van Doom blinded himself to the fact that the heated mask would harm his face far worse than the explosion had. Never again will mortal eyes gaze upon the hideous contents of Victor Von Doom. From this moment on, there is no Victor Von Doom. He has vanished, along with the handsome face he once possessed. In his place is now Dr. Doom. The mask burned into Von Doom's unprotected skin. Okay, insanity. In agony, Von Doom fled outside the cavern to extinguish his pain in the cooling snow outside. Now Von Doom's face must truly have been horror he claimed it to be, but at this moment he did not seem to care. He was Dr. Doom now, a man who considered himself above human weakness, a man who was determined to rule the world. Master, your face, are you? Silence. No man may question Doom for any reason. Fetch the rest of my garments. The time has come for me to leave at last this lost plateau. The time has come for me to assume my rightful place in this world as its absolute master. Dr. Doom left Tibet and returned to his homeland, Latveria, and seized the throne for himself. Then he was ready to begin implementing his plans of world conquest. Who better, he thought, to use as a pawn than the man who had antagonized him long before, Reed Richards. Now, with the Fantastic Four trapped within their own headquarters, Doom takes Sue Storm as his hostage and forces her teammates to board his helicopter. He then flies his unwilling guests to the castle he has built for himself here in America. And now, my reluctant passengers, welcome to the home of Dr. Doom. It's a regular fortress. Minutes later inside. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's rush him. We can't, Thing. We promised not to attack him till we heard him out. You're wise to restrain yourself. At last, Dr. Doom tells the Fantastic Four what he wants of them. I have successfully developed the most incredible invention of the age, an actual time travel device, and I want you to go centuries into the past and attain the legendary treasure of Blackbeard for me. With Sue as Doom's prisoner, the three male teammates are forced to agree to bring him Blackbeard's treasure chest. And so, using Doom's machine, Mr. Fantastic, the Thing, and the Human Torch make their momentous first journey through time. It's the time travel machine. We're standing on it all the time. Reed, Johnny, Thing, be careful. Please, be careful. They're gone. Yes, gone to bring me the gems which, unknown to them, will make Dr. Doom the ruler of Earth. The trio finds themselves centuries in the past. Oh, it worked. Look, where are we? We've got to move fast. We've only got 48 hours. Faced with the need to accomplish a seemingly impossible task within a brief time limit, that Doom has given them, the three adventurers act quickly. Disguised as people of that age, they use their powers to take command of a pirate ship. Back! Stay back! It is death to defy the miraculous ones. Now that's more like it. No sooner have they done so than another pirate appears on the horizon. It's another pirate ship. Maybe it's Blackbeard. The thing throws himself into his new role of the swashbuckler with enthusiasm, surprising his teammates. All right, you swabs, that means you too. We're all in this together, get me? Aye, mighty one. With the disguised thing leading the attack, the other ship is quickly taken over. Yahoo! Go get 'em, boys! Follow the black-bearded one, attack! They fight like demons possessed. We have no chance. Hooray for the mighty bearded one! Hooray for Blackbeard! Hail Blackbeard, scourge of the seven seas! He's black. I forgot about this. Blackbeard? They're talking about Thing. Good Lord, I see it now. The Thing is Blackbeard. He came back to the past to find himself? Reed is right. The Thing has become the Blackbeard of the timeline he is visiting. Hence, the treasure chest that Reed and Johnny just found is Blackbeard's. But Reed knows that Doom must want the treasure from some malevolent purpose. So, since Reed has only promised to bring Doom's Blackbeard's treasure chest, not the treasure itself, he decides to leave the treasure in the past. But now an unexpected problem arises. The Thing, embittered by his life as a monster in the present, has no intention of going back. You two can go back if you wanna. As for me, I like it here. Reed, he actually enjoys being Blackbeard, but he can't remain here in the past. Why can't I stay? The future holds nothing for me. In the 20th century, I'm nothing but a monster, a freak. But here I'm somebody. I'm a leader of men. I'm captain. I'm the guy who started the legend of Blackbeard. The kids will read about me in school someday. I ain't giving this up. Never. Perhaps not even Ben himself had realized before now how deep his sorrow had become. Having found people who accepted him both as a normal man and as a hero, Ben finds himself willing to do almost anything to stay with them. He even helps his men take Reed and Johnny prisoners so they cannot force him to go back. But after three partners are buffered by a violent storm which frees Reed and Johnny, Ben returns to his senses. Don't say it, Rubber Man. I know. I was a fool. I must have got carried away by being accepted as a normal man, even if it was only by a band of cutthroat pirates. I just lost my dumb head for a minute. The 48-hour time limit expires, and Dr. Doom uses his time machine to bring the three heroes and the treasure chest back to him. It is now that Doom reveals that to the trio why he wanted the treasure. He has learned about it in his studies of the occult. We promised to bring you Blackbeard's treasure chest, Doom. Well, here it is. Good. The gems in that chest will help me gain mastery of all of the world. Those little baubles are more than what they seem. They were originally the property of Merlin, the ancient magician. He gave them mystic power and the power to make their owner invincible. But on opening the chest, Doom finds that Reed substituted for the gems. What? Chains? Worthless chains. I've been tricked. You gotta be more than that, brother. Let's get him, guys. Fool, you think you can defeat Dr. Doom so easily? Yeah, just watch me. Hey, that's nothing but a robot. For the first time, the Fantastic Four has encountered one of Dr. Doom's virtually ambiguous robot doubles, which Doom has used while he watched their return from elsewhere in the castle. Sue manages to escape Doom's captivity, and Doom himself flees, no longer having anything to gain in confronting the Fantastic Four at the present moment. I have been cheated out of the magic gems of Merlin, but I shall still escape to find a new hidden site where I can plan my conquest of the Earth. But the Fantastic Four have gained something: Dr. Doom's time machine, which he had left behind, and which the team would use in the future. Gosh. First Submariner, and now Dr. Doom loose on the Earth. What happens next? We'll devote our lives to tracking them down. We can do no more. And next time, I'll handle things my way. Johnny has nearly guessed what menace they will encounter next. An alliance between Doctor Doom and the Submariner. But that is a tale for our next issue. Meanwhile, now we gotta learn about Spider-Man. Spider-Man's story is kind of sad, I think. Since his recent television debut, The Amazing Spider-Man has become the talk of the entire nation. In the past, superpowered beings were rarely seen in action in public. But now Spider-Man is walking up the walls, performing incredible feats of strength, and spinning his webs in front of millions of television viewers. They have never seen the like of him before, and Spider-Man's show business career is already a great success. Who is the Spider-Man? Spider-Man plays to a packed house. Spider-Man wins Showbiz Awards. Spider-Man slated for new TV series. But still, nobody knows who the nation's new idol really is. No one could possibly guess that only weeks ago Spider-Man was no more than a timid, bookish high school student named Peter Parker. After being bitten by an iterated spider in an atomic laboratory, Parker discovered that he had gained superhuman powers. Dazzled by the idea of fame and fortune, Parker launched a show business career, concealing his true identity behind a mask and a costume of a publicity gimmick. Right after his first live television appearance, Spider-Man was confronted with a decision that would change his life. Hey, what's going on? Stop! Thief! Stop him! If he makes it to the elevator, he'll get away. Peter let the thief go. After all, Spider-Man is an entertainer, not a crime fighter. So, in some of the other comics, it's a wrestling match that he's part of. What's with you, mister? All you had to do was trip him or hold him just for a minute. Sorry, pal, it's your job. I'm through being pushed around by anyone. From now on, I just look out for number one, and that means me. The only people that the newly arrogant Peter Parker truly cares about are his kindly Uncle Ben and Aunt May, who raised the orphan Peter since he was a child. Peter, you know that microscope you always wanted? Your uncle and I bought it for you this afternoon. Gosh, that's terrific. You're the greatest family any fella ever had. They're the only ones who've ever been kind to me. I'll see to it that they're always happy, but the rest of the world can go hang for all I care. One night, Peter returns from another successful public appearance as Spider-Man, only to find his private world smashed beyond repair. A police car in front of our house? What could be wrong? Bad news, son. Your uncle has been shot. Murdered. Uncle Ben dead? No, it can't be. Who did this? Who shot him? It was a burglar. Your uncle surprised him. But don't worry, lad. We got him trapped. He's in the old Acme warehouse at the waterfront. We'll get him. Near hysteria, the teenager runs to use his new powers to avenge his uncle's murder. Your aunt is next door. The neighbors are looking after her. Wait, I got to go. I got to get him. I know the old Acme warehouse. It's been deserted for years. The killer could hold off an army in that gloomy old place. But he won't hold off Spider-Man. Within the warehouse, Ben Parker, killer, awaits, unaware of the eerie figure that has tracked him down. All I gotta do is hold him off till the moon goes down. Then I ought to be able to slip away in the dark. You'll never escape again, murderer. Huh? What the? Surprised to see me? The killer flees, but he cannot escape his vengeful pursuer. There is no place on earth where you can hide from me. First, my web will relieve you of your gun, and then my fist will do the rest. Spider-Man is horrified when he gets his first clear look of the murderer's face. That face. Oh no, it can't be. It's the fugitive who ran past me, the one I didn't stop when I had a chance. I hate to do it, but we'll have to rush him now. Can't take a chance of him slipping by in the dark. Captain, look! Here, for the first time, the police receive a gift from their self-appointed ally in crime fighting. But bringing the burglar to justice does not even begin to assure Spider-Man's sense of guilt. It's him, on a spider web, and a short distance away. My fault. All my fault. If only I'd stopped him when I could have, but I didn't, and now Uncle Ben is dead. and a lean, silent figure slowly fades into the gathering darkness, aware at last that in this world with great power there also comes great responsibility. We all needed to hear that one, right? We all knew it was coming. It is the sense of responsibility born of anguish, guilt, his unwillingness to flee through his own interaction any other innocent. His unwillingness to allow, through his own inaction, any other innocent person to suffer that makes Spider-Man a fighter for justice to this very day. Shortly thereafter, a man who has retreated from the world into a lonely mansion in New York State's Westchester County receives news that will change his life. Like Peter Parker, he will soon realize that he has responsibilities to serve. I'm always glad when I pass this place way out. Here. Somehow it gives me the creeps. I've delivered the papers out here every day for months, but I've never seen a sign of life, except that once a week somebody leaves collection money under the doormat. Yet no sooner has the uneasy lad faded in the distance than the front door slowly opens and a gaunt hand appears. That bold headline. What could it be? Moments later, in the gloom of the semi-darkened study, a pair of trained eyes read the feature story, digesting every word at a fleeting glance. So, it's come at last. The very thing I knew must one day happen. The human race have discovered the presence of mutants in their midst. According to this account, the FBI is beginning a special investigation as of today. Then I dare play the role of recluse no longer. I must leave for Washington at once. And with these words, Professor Charles Xavier, who is himself a superpower mutant, sets upon the course that will lead the founding of the team of mutants called the Uncanny X-Men. Next month, special X-Men issue featuring the full origins of Professor X, including Magneto, Hydra, the Juggernaut, plus the complete origin of Cyclops. And as if all that isn't enough, you'll also see the full origin of Thor and the first time ever team up of Doctor Doom and the Submariner against the Fantastic Four. All this and even more in Marvel Saga number 4. And then these are the covers that came from, that were debuted. So you had Fantastic Four meets Doctor Doom. That's the final Fantastic Four's first encounter, which was 1962. I was not born yet. The Submariner made his explosive return in the Fantastic Four number 4, also in 1962. And then we have the Subby's Marvel Age solo debut, Submariner number 1, May 1968. I was born then. That was my brother's birthday. So there's the front, there's the back. We'll show you the next one we will do, which will be this one, number 4. We'll do that next week. Next week we'll go back to doing two at a time. Okay? If you guys are liking them. So next week we'll do 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3. That'll get us back on track. This is number 5. Alright, well, now I'm going to do some journaling. So for those of you that find that extremely boring, now's your time to say goodbye. See you later. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own journal. I have collected quite a bit of stuff for making a pink and brown is the colors I wanted to use, pink, brown, and maybe like either a silver or a copper. I haven't decided. Color mental. I like to have usually 3 colors, and the third color is a metal or chromatic kind of thing. But this one is going to be made out of a old book. Now you guys can do this yourself. Just you need a book. It is a glue journal. That is basically what they're called. This one, I got a bunch of these very old music books. You could use a magazine too. Magazines make great glue books, and then you can put a cover on them if you want or whatever. I'm gonna use this book here. I got a couple. I like the covers. They're really hard. I'm gonna put on the covers when I'm done. not doing it. Hang on. Oh, there it goes. My microphone, I think, is going. I don't know how long I've not had sound. Well, that sucks. Y'all been watching me without sound. I've been reading, and yet I don't know how long I have not been reading. Okay, hang on. I'm going to check that because that seems... I'm sorry if you guys... Obviously, I finished the story. Thank you, Just Not Good, for letting me know. I was having problems being live earlier. Okay. No, it's not what I wanted. Okay, well, I won't be able to look because I can't go back yet. I wanted to go back and see. Sometimes it'll let you go back. It was since I finished the comic book. Okay, thank you. That's all I needed to know. All right, well, then we're going to talk about this again. You just got here, so around 9:30 or so. Well, all right. So, really quick, we'll talk about books again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a journal for myself. And the journal is going to be with a used book. You can go get old books at the thrift store. You might have some books hanging around. National Geographic magazines make really good glue books, if that's what you're going to do. This is technically going to be a glue book because the book is already put together. I was explaining how they bind books. So they take all these pages and they put them in a book binding, and then they screw the book binder down really tight, and they glue the whole edge of the spine with nothing on it. And then after it's glued, then they glue a piece of fabric, and it goes over just a little bit on each sides. And then when that's dry, they glue this one on it, and after they pick out their chipboard, and they'll keep it in the book binder until all that dries. Then they take a piece of paper that will cover through both of these, and they lay it down, crease it, and that gives it extra support. So you shouldn't take the first page out because that keeps the cover attached. All the pages after that are okay, but I usually count. The stand. Maybe I've got too much going on. I don't know. Usually it's not a problem. Yeah, it's not even acknowledging that one now. Alright. I've had nothing but problems today. Okay. So, why is this not... Hello? 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 troubleshooting. Okay. Let's see. All right, hello. Can you hear me again? There it goes. Okay, so I'm having some issues with the snowball. I don't know why, but the snowball's having some problems. So I will put this aside and hopefully I will be able to catch it when it does it again. I don't know why it's having an issue. There's nothing else running, so it shouldn't be a problem. This says OBS keeps having problems. Recognize snowball. They did do an update recently of OBS, so maybe that's the problem. All right, anyway, so what I was trying to get through this is when you're tearing out your pages, you have to be careful which pages you tear out for your glue book. So this is a glue journal. I will show you another example of that. They will fall apart over time. Let's see, so here's one that I have, and I didn't take as many out, but you can see the spine is having problems. It's falling apart slowly and surely. I could save this, but I got a new one this is my password book, all important things. And I have a new one I'm gonna do. So I tend to update it because I'll forget after a while and then it'll say it doesn't run. So that's an example of a glue book. I use those for journals. I had showed you guys one before where excuse me, where I had put ideas for journals in it, and that the book itself is an idea. So anyway, let's get to going on this. So I like these because they're very hard, they're very thick, and they tend to work pretty well. I have taken, you can take the insides out. So how you do that is you would cut down this seam right here. You just cut right here and on the other side, and then you pull it out, and all the pages will come out and leave you just the cover. And then you can fill that, you can make that into a journal. I've done that as well. Sometimes I'll cut this right here and then cut this board off and cut the other board off and take the whole spine out and put a brand new spine in to make a bigger journal, because I just like this part right here. So thank you for showing up. Just not good. Did someone give you a shout out? I don't know if they did. I'm trying not to touch my snowball because it's having a
hissy fit.
It's having well, I think OBS and it's having a fit. But I think my snowball is getting old. I've had it for almost 10 years now.
Okay.
So maybe down the road I'll have to get a new one of those too. Okay guys, if you have a chance, go check out Just Not Good. It's kind of a misnomer name there, isn't it? Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to count that as a page because there's another one like it. 5, 6. This stuff here, it's like magazine paper and it's hard to glue. It's not my favorite paper. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so then you're going to do this, take these out. You have to be careful because some of these, the way they're glued, is in signatures. So a signature is two pieces of paper that are folded in half and then they're glued together or sewed in together as a group. Hey, Walt. No. I woke up this morning with my hands being very problematic and my wrists are all bruised. It's a fibro thing. All right, so that's page 1. You save your pages too because you're going to use them. So, which I will show you. That's 3. See how, now this paper is not the best paper in the world because it rips really easy. It makes it easy for getting out, but it rips really easy. Music paper is really popular with journal makers. Sounds nice. Yeah, it is a thing. So with my fibromyalgia, I have the problem with the pain on my seals, which I thought of human beings as something you put together or 2 molds. I have that pain. I have pain in my wrists. I have pains in my fingers. Pains in my heel. Sometimes my feet bother me. I've gained some weight, so that's always a problem. Makes my hips and my feet hurt. My legs are having problems lately. Sometimes I have eyeball problems, muscle spasms. My ears are hurt. None of it's anything that can do anything. It will. Sometimes it's just the weather, and then other times it's because I'm nerves in my back are not doing well. That's 4. See now, here's an example. I don't know if you guys see it. So this page is in a clump with another page because it didn't come out really well. Now, some people don't, and see, you can see it, but look. There's a whole bunch of them together. But I don't want the whole bunch. I just want this one right here. I just want that one. Like I said, I may end up taking more of them out after I start putting my other stuff in. But every night for the next Thursdays, I will be making, I will decorate the page. Now, the plus of doing a journal like this is you don't have to make your own signatures because the papers are already in here. I have made my own signatures, so it's not when I did Ashenda's, I sewed hers in. I'm pretty sure most of the journals I made, if they weren't made like this, or even if they were made with a preset cover, have been sewed in. I do these for myself. Okay, so that was 5. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you could do 5 and 10. You could keep 5 and take out 10, which would give you more room when you're building stuff. I won't know until after I start building it really how much I need. So I'm just going to do the standard 10, 5. I think it's 10, 5. I could be wrong. Could be 5, 10. 5, 10 would give you a lot of room. 3. 4. And like I said, you keep the other pages. Now I might not use these pages in here. You could use the pages in other books, especially the pictures. People like these old-fashioned pictures in journals. I don't use them. Somebody used that. Look how old that is. So there must have been something else sitting here at one time. Got a nice feel to it. Maybe I'll keep it. Use it for something. Feels like a toilet paper. Has that texture to it. Look. Like a tissue. It's bigger than though, because see the ragged edges on this side? This is the edge, but this has a ragged edge, so it's bigger than this piece. But it does have this pressed right here. So it could be a paper towel. See? I like the texture though. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna try it that way. 5. I'm gonna do 10. Out. I have a lot of stuff, so see now here's one where they're connected. So you got to. This one does not want to come out very nicely. Sometimes they won't come out nicely. So if you have a little ecto blade, you can come in here and cut these out better. I don't have one on me. So I don't have one on me right now. I don't know if that's still doing what it's supposed to be doing. Hang on. Just a FYI, I'm having mic issues, so if all of a sudden you can't hear me, be sure to tell me and I'll look up. So if you had a book of your own, you could follow along. You could always just get your book and do it. These are good. The big ones like this are great for learning to play with color and art. Like I said though, I don't like this actual texture of the paper. This is a very smooth paper and things tend to not stick as well. So sometimes I'll glue another paper on top of it. So that's one. See, this is why this one's having a hard time. This is one of the signature ones. So it's folded in. See? I don't know if you guys can see it up there. It's folded in right there. And so it's having a very hard time removing itself. And that's the other thing, is if you're not careful with these signatures right here, like that, so this one popped up. If you're not careful with them, they will make the whole book fall apart very quickly. So there's 2. That's 3. See, there it is again. I don't want to take too much of that out there because it will pop right out. Some books make much better glue books than these ones do, but I like the size of the paper, so. Let's try it this way. I'll go with that one. The other thing you can do is you could take the spine out, or you could take the book out of the spine and then use them, put them back in the way I told you, where you glue it with a book binding thing. You can make yourself a book press really easy. It's just it's been rather warm in her tank. It's been in the 50s lately because it's warming up here. So I just filled her tank this morning. Added more to it. And if you had an Etsy and you were selling stuff, you could take these pictures from here and the paint and the music papers and all these pictures like this, cut them down and sell them, because people sell these pictures from books to scrapbookers, because people like the vintage kind of Victorian looking older pictures. That one's going to cause me problems down the road, I can tell. That won't come out very good either. Like this picture here. This picture here, somebody would really like that. They do a lot of women Victorian style stuff. So, a big old piece. Not come out clean. You can take an ecto blade through this. The problem is, like I said, if they're made into signatures, which this one is, that can be a problem. If they're single sheets, it's not a problem because you're just cutting the glue away. But that can be, you know, it's kind of a hit and miss. We have a cooler tank regulator, temperature regulator. She has a chiller. The chiller is what keeps track of her. So she has a gigantic chiller that sits at the bottom of her tank, and it registers the temp of the tank, and then it will say what the temperature is, and then it is geared between 30 and or 50 and 70, let's just say, degrees, and if it falls above that 70, then it will automatically turn on to go back down to the lowest temp. So if it's 50 to 70, 70 is the turn on, 50 is the shutdown. So in the summertime, sometimes we have to help it out by adding some ice, which helps cool the water on the top. So it just depends. They're very pricey though. If you're thinking about getting a water dragon, the dragon will cost you a little bit. An axolotl, depending on where you buy it, might cost you a little bit. And then on top of that, the tank, and because you have to have a tank that's big enough for them to get, you know, have room in it. She's about what, 1.5 foot long. So she is also going to be 5 years old, 5, 6 years old. 5 or 6 years old. I was just telling Roger that she's got a little more darkness on her face and stuff. It's old age that'll happen. Because what happens is axolotls can, because they share, all the axolotls in America share tiger salamanders genes. They're not pure axolotls because they were used for experiments in science. So they can turn into regular salamanders. But if that happens, it's because of some event. Old age is one of those events. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that did not come across very well. See? Okay, so here's a signature, so you can see it. So how these are done is they were folded big pieces and folded in half, and then they were, okay, I'll see if I can explain it easy. Does that make sense? Okay, see how there's a folded there? So they were big, looks like 11 by 17. And then they were folded in half and laid on top of each other like this. See, there's another one. Okay, so, and then like this. So they were that 11 by 17 was folded in half. And then they get layered like this all the way up and put in a book press. And then they're painted with glue, book glue, like that. And then you lay the spine on top of them. So. It has a moss ball that you guys don't see in the video that I have. She has a moss ball that she has in there, and bubbles. And her jar, food jar, she climbed up on her food jar today. It's hard to keep plants because of the temperature. The cooler temperature, because, you know, axolotls live in caves. The, 1,000 left of them in the, I don't think it's 1,000 anymore. I think it's like 500, 800 of them. I can't remember. They haven't done a good count of them. In Mexico there. So out well, but now they're not doing well. Well, because five. That might work. See, there's the signature right there. Which you can, so after I get done with this, I can take glue and drop it in there if I wanted to make sure it's going to stay. For me, it's not a big deal. I find that even though these are fun to do, I probably like making my own spines better because they stick together. I'll tell you, we've been having, our snail tank has been having problems, and our snails have been dying, so. Ooh, this paper smells old. Old paper has a smell to it. I've been having problems with my glue, but I think it's just because it's cold out in my garage. So this is another folded one. I can see it right there. There it is. Seagull would be cool. Well, that would be true, except that she's a freshwater, not a tropical. I used to, as a kid, my father was very big into tanks, and he had both tropical fish, or seawater fish, and ocean fish, and river freshwater. And cleaning them puppies, they were a pain in the ass. Keeping them alive can be problematic. Keeping them alive can be problematic. I don't know if there's a freshwater version of kelp. We could do, so I am going to be doing, and I'll try to figure out a way to film it. I'm going to make a koi pond in a pot, which is to start out with baby kois and grow them up bigger. Then I'll put them each in a pot by themselves, and then eventually put them in a pond. I have seen where I can put them in a bigger pond. Kois, though, can live to be 200 years old. That's the record for them. So that's something I'm going to do this summer. I'm going to try to do. We'll see. So I can hand train them, feed them. But I don't know, because I was thinking about getting guinea pigs for my grandson. So we'll see how that all plays out. Maybe for my birthday, I do that. Do a birthday thing. Because I know I talked about for a long time I was going to do a big, huge birthday stream, but I have opted against that. Just, I'll do a stream, but I'm not going to have we were going to have a big party for me when I turned 60, but I don't want my kids to waste money. So, nobody would show up. I don't have any friends that live here. I have only family. probably won't use this paper in here. I'm probably going to use different paper. I'm going to cut all those pictures out that I'm sticking someplace. So I just don't like to feel this paper. You like permanently being where the tropical fishes are unless they all die. I am, but they showed how to put a cover over them, you know, like a chicken wire cover to keep the predators out. So we'll try it. We'll see what happens. The koi fish. I guess if they die, it's kind of meant to be, right? Because they were already in the tank when you get them. Do you see how much the koi fish can go? Oh my God, you can pay up to $1 million for a huge koi to put in your pond. I'm not gonna breed them, but it just intrigues me. I didn't know how big of a thing it was. The plan is that the same for axolotls. Well, axolotls, I think what happens is people think, oh, this is a great pet and it'll be easy to do, and the problem is if you don't keep them healthy, they die, and so that's a problem. We do have I did buy some plants for the snails tank, and they're not really like, it's not really like kelp, though it does grow like kelp. It's got little round things on it, but for some reason it doesn't do well in the tank, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work out for me. With her environment, yeah, she's mostly. Yeah, that's true, Feely. So I believe that some people touch their axolotls. I haven't noticed that she's particularly fond of being touched. My son will pick her up and touch her and stuff, but she will turn around and clamp on you. She loves to bite you thinking you're food. And I mean, like, she's trying to eat him, but I think for the most part, an axolotl is just one of those things like fish that you kind of just go out, sit in your chair, and watch them do their thing while they watch you do your thing. I go out when I'm doing art with her. But she has a moss ball. She has a big stump that was made purposely for those kind of tanks. She's got sand on the bottom, as you've seen in the videos. And we, I go out and talk to her periodically. But they come instinctively, even though it's been almost 100 years since the axolotls that live in the world outside of Mexico have been used and rebred and just constantly bred and then sold off and bred and then sold off and bred, and then back into scientific research. I think for the most part they're so separated from their ancestry, but yet remember what it's like to be in a tank, like in a small area, because they were all in very tiny cave, little bottom of the pool like things. You know how you have a lake and then you have little holes down underneath the lake in caves? So it's an interesting thing there. She's an interesting character. It would never been a pet I myself would have ever decided to have. I like fish, koi fish. I like little ponds style things, catfish, sturgeon, things like that. But an axolotl, salamanders, frogs, whereas they're interesting, they're not really my idea of a great pet. To me, you're just looking at them. That's just me. I mean, like I said, you might be a person that handles your... That's true. You might be a person that likes to handle your axolotl a lot. Okay, so... that one. I think I'm going to cover a lot of this with paper. What are those? Nationality and music. Most people would be like, "You're tearing a book up." This book's probably was sitting around for a long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a nice picture, though. Inspiration. Inspiration. But I have to get rid of some of that stuff I've been saving for my journal that I was gonna make. And I'm gonna make 2. I think I'm gonna make a unicorn journal. So I needed to, for other people down the road, make it and then give it away, or put it in my gallery. But I need to figure out what I'm keeping and what I'm not keeping for myself. So let's see. Now this is a dual one right here. I can just put those both together. So this is another one of those you can see. So when it was printed like this. As one whole thing. Look at the different types of musical instruments. Harp. This looks like a violin type style. This one reminds me of when I've seen Indian belly dancing done. They have this kind of like a violin style. The history of music. Going out as a signature, which is fine. I'll probably make a new picture, a new video of, that's a good one. Let's connect it to that one. I don't want it. Let go. Let go. A new video pretty soon of, Azariel. The one I've been playing is the history of, because people had made a comment about them being exotic and they should be free back in their world, but these guys can't be freed, so so I was explaining it to a couple of people who made comments. Imagine reading this book. I'm pretty sure it was a textbook. Okay, so the next time that I stream, I might stream tomorrow. I might play some more puzzle games tomorrow. That Phanmofia, I might do that tomorrow afternoon. My son can't play any Marvel Rivals, so. Look at the music instruments. Taking that picture out. I was gonna use it if I ever make another musical journal. They did a cascade. So when they folded this out, they folded it's every other one is connected to the other one when they layered them in. So I don't know if they sewed it directly in. It doesn't look like that. Like it's been sewed directly in. And you can't really get all of this out, so even if you wanted to, you can make it look neat, but if you take it all out, then it's all gonna fall out. See, like this page is connected coming out, so. And sometimes you go back through and you're like, oh, I probably should just take that page out anyway. Oops, these were attached. Okay. Through. Oh, it's not going to come out. I don't want it to come out because it's attached to this one. Alrighty, so I'm gonna call it quits. I'll probably do the rest of this while I'm sitting here watching TV or something. I'll have it done by next Thursday, and we'll start making pockets and decorating it and deciding how I want to make it look. The last thing I would do is put a cover on it after I finish the insides. But so like I said, I probably am going to stream tomorrow in the evening around 5 or so, 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'm going to do that Panamorphia, and then from the Panamorphia, I'm probably going to do maybe some Da Vinci. Anyway, we'll go ahead and put Azariel up, and you guys have a great evening, and I will catch you all on the flip side. I'm out of here. Peace. Greetings all, Shardvixen here. And here is Azariel, moving around, being very active. She thinks there's food today. Today is not a feeding day. I have to clean her cage. Can I have this? Thank you. So, as a behavioralist, one of the things you learn is that human beings put feelings on animals. That's not to say animals don't have feelings. Animals definitely have feelings. I mean, we know that they can fear. We know, based on behavior, they feel fear, they feel anger, happiness, or contentment, and love, which also, dislike or like in that aspect. Azariel, though, I'm pretty sure she doesn't like me touching her, so I'm going to touch her again. I've already touched her once. She's like, why are you touching me? Hang on. Let's see if I can get her to come back this way. Hey, come here. See? So I can hold her. It's not her preference, though. She doesn't. Her preference is not to be held. So that you should always kind of pay attention to your critter's behavior. If a critter is trying to get away from you, they probably don't like you touching them. She doesn't turn around and attack me. Though she will try to bite me, but I'm pretty sure she's trying to eat me to see if I'm tasting me to see if I'm something that she can eat. It's not feeding day for her today, so I have to clean her tank out later on. But I thought you might want to watch her. People are always on my Twitch and my Discord. We nicknamed her Azariel, the water dragon. They are always asking me how she's doing. How is Azariel doing? How's the water dragon doing? She's doing much better now. So, but, you know, it's an interesting animal because people are like, they get confused because symbolizations for humans is really one of those things. And the axolotl looks like it's happy, but it's just the shape of its mouth. It's not always happy. Contentment. I wouldn't know if Azariel was happy. I would know if Azariel was sick. I would know that if she was interested in her environment like she's doing right now. I would know that I knew that she didn't want to be touched, though she's not overly aggressive about being touched. We do have to touch her if we're cleaning her tank and taking her out. We don't use a net or anything because that can hurt her. But for the most part, Azariel is just not. Azariel is just there. Contemplating who knows what, huh? What are you thinking about? Okay, there she goes. She does not encourage being touched at all. I've seen other axolotls that people have touched that seek out touch. Again, that is because every animal, like every human, is different. And they all have their preferences, what they like and what they don't like. I know dogs that really don't like being held by other people except their owners. Or touched by anybody else but their owners. Let's see if we can move this back this way a little bit. We're on the move. We're on the move. I'm not the best video person. I'm on the move. Alright. So here in Springfield, we got a warning for a geomagnetic storm G5, which my partner informed me is a solar flare. So internet might get wonky through the weekend, might not, you know. So I'm still sorting card stuff, recycled stuff, picture stuff. I wanted to show you this really cool thing. So these are these weird cutouts that you buy. Remember the word I can't say. Whatever. To using paper stuff that you throw away in your journals. So these are cutouts. Let me see if I find one. Like this. So this cutout, see? And then this is the shape of it down here, which is a popular one for tags. So I can now make my own tags. I have my own little thing to use. Pretty cool. I love it when you can upcycle something like that. But so I don't know how much longer I'll be making talking videos. My fibromyalgia and my brain processing issues are causing me to lose my words. I can think the word, and I'm also losing track sometimes when I talk. Now, I'll be 60 next year, so, I mean, it's a good chance my brain's old. And it's ADHD brain, so maybe this is how an ADHD brain with a processing issue, maybe this is how it ages. But I'm not sure how much longer my videos will have conversation in them. I'll probably always stream videos, and I'll probably always make journals and flip-throughs because I enjoy those. Everything I do because I enjoy it. It's such a nice picture of her backside. You can see her gills really well. You see her ridge. I'm sorry she's not really an active axolotl. Don't have many active creatures. But anyways, because of that, sometimes I can't talk. It's going to drive me nuts because I won't remember how to say the ephemeral stuff, but maybe it'll come back to me at night because that's usually when it comes back, in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, that's how you say that. So I know how to spell it. I know what it is. It's that PH. MAREPH. I'm sorry, EPH. MAREPH. A, I think. I did a whole video on it, so I like this. Sorry, shiny. Well, I don't know what I'd use it for, but I like it. So I'll probably keep that one. I like this. I painted. This is a color method of using Kool-Aid. Turned out really nice. I was also going to tell you, if you wanted to make tea dye teas, you don't have to just use old old teas to tea dye. You can use old tea bags, because tea gets old and you're not supposed to keep it around. If it gets old, you're not supposed to drink it. It loses its potency. So you can take teas maybe nobody ever opened, or somebody gifted them to you, or something like that, and soak those, and you'll get vibrant colors. You'll get stronger colors than you will from the old tea bags that you use, or reused tea bags that you upcycle. And then if you make paper like I do, you can dry out the tea bags, cut the inside out, and use the flowery bits inside to be put on your paper. So that's always kind of cool. So I try to do that as much as possible. And that's kind of that thing that we think about. You know? I don't know what thing. Because now I lost that thought. So this will happen a lot. I'll sound like blah, 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 blah. And it definitely will be blah, 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 blah. Alright, so I'm out of here. I'll catch you all on the flip side as Ariel's saying goodbye, I think, because she turned herself around. I know they say, don't tap on the glass. But that's how I call her. So if I want her to come to a specific spot, or I have her food, I tap it. She knows it's glass. Since she's been little, and she's almost 4 years old. Goodbye, Ariel. Goodbye. Catch you all on the flip side. I'm out of here. Peace.